Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to discuss Avalanche and its token Avax. Over the last 24 hours and over the last 7 days, Avax has rallied by about 16% and 10% respectively. And again, in terms of its tokenomics, the percent of circulating supply as a percent of the max supply is coming close to that 60% target on the channel that we have. Again, none of the content is financial advice. Let's get started. With machine learning based analysis for AVAX, what we have today is an interpreting how high AVAX could go per machine learning models, regression analysis, and risk based targets. So over the last week or so, price has appreciated by about 16%. Currently, it's at around $21.52. If you take a look at its price action at a weekly average since the token launch, and apply machine learning based algorithms to identify where the one standard deviation, two standard deviation, bear and bull cases could be. The yellow line describes in an event of recovery from its December 2024 high of about $52. If that recovery in the coming 6 months is a non-euphoria recovery, the price of AVAX could be between $24 and about $60, $61. On the other hand, if there is a euphoria in the market the towards the end of August, or again end of quarter 2, towards the end of quarter 3 of 2025, the price action for AVAX could be between $27 and $140. At a weekly high, the previous all-time high at a weekly average was at around $120, roughly speaking. If we look at AVAX from a technical analysis perspective, right now the price action again is well below the 21-week exponential moving average, coming in at around $28, and the 20-week simple moving average at around $32. So those are the two key levels to look in the upward direction. Then the 0.23 fib level at $41.63, all the way to again at a previous all-time high coincidentally is at around $148. So if let's say if we take a conservative estimate that AVAX makes 50% of its move, that is in terms of Fibonacci levels from peak to bottom of the bear market. Again, I'll just reset this. Yeah, so the bear market low was at around $8. So if it retraces half of the move, then the price action in that level could be at around $78. If we go slightly bullish, then 0.618 fib level at around $94. An average of those could be somewhere between $80-$85, and we see a lot of confluence. I'll show you how the machine learning models and the regression analysis point to that level. Again, in a case of continued 6 months worth of bearishness, the floor is somewhere between, if you take an average of $7.50 and about $18, you'll land up somewhere close to the 12 to 13 dollars level. The base case, all things considered, the sideways motion could take if there isn't any news in the market, or if all things equal, what is the likelihood of the trend behind the price action? That is again a sideways price action for AVAX. In terms of the regression based valuation, the fair value comes at around $24. Again, price is lower than the fair value, but higher than the lower higher than the one standard deviation residual applied to the fair value, that is at around $13, roughly speaking $14. Whenever the price in the bear market went below this polynomial regression one standard deviation residual green line, that was a great time to get in the market per the model. Again, you can see looking back or looking forward in let's say in coming bear markets, whenever the prices of any high quality token again have this kind of a pattern, again that points to an accumulation zone. Again, these charts get updated every single day, all of the content available for free, for not just for AVAX, for hundreds of cryptos on their USD and ETH pair. So if you are interested in following along, the link is on the bottom of your screen, cryptoweekly.com, and the YouTube channel, Crypto Weeklies. You can like and subscribe to stay updated. The one standard deviation ceiling, a non-euphoria ceiling for AVAX per this model is coming in at around $38. A two standard deviation euphoria ceiling for AVAX comes at around $60 to $63. Again, a confluence between the machine learning model and which points euphoria, non-euphoria recovery at around $61, whereas the regression model says with euphoria we get to that $61. The SMA, or the simple moving average based risk level, price color coded with respect to risk level, says that risks are less than 20%. If they were to go to that eventual during the euphoria phase where the risk levels go between 50% and 60%, that at that point in time the price for Avax again between $75 and $88. That's the target per the model. Again, one major area of confluence between, as mentioned earlier, in terms of the Fibonacci based model as well as regression based model and the average of all the models that we'll share at the end. The DCA model, which takes into consideration the regression based fair value estimation and based on the price and the relationship between the price and the risk levels. Again, you can see that this purple zone is where buying DCA per this model is the best risk reward. Again, over here less than 10%. Now again in October 2023 at 7%. Right now the risk is at around 27%. If they eventually go to that between 50 to 60% risk, the target for Avax per this model could be between $38 and about $43. This is a more conservative model. If you were to plot the peak standard deviation, 2 standard deviation line right now, that comes at around $51, but that would mean that Avax going to that close to that 80-85 percentile risk per this model. Again, as a summary of all the models, we have a composite at the end. The time weighted average price model helps identify an accumulation zone in the bear market for high quality assets if they are trading below the time weighted average price, that is this blue line, and if the hypothesis is that in the future bull run they do participate in those bull run, accumulating below the time weighted average price in the bear market or in the dip buying phase of the market cycle is definitely not the best worst idea. Again, does not identify the actual bottom, but also provides an historically speaking has provided 1, 2, 3, 4 and now potentially 5th accumulation zone for Avax. Right now the time weighted average price is around $31. So as a composite of all the models for Avax, what we have is an estimated bull run peak for Avax, again as a confluence at around $132, but that would represent that Avax would go to 100% risk. The weighted risk is at right now 15% as across the 3 models, but again if you would like to be more conservative and take a 70 percentile of that $130 target, that puts price at around $91. If you want to be slightly more conservative, a 68 percentile gets you 60 percentile gets you to close to that $78, which is confluent with this 0.5 fib level and several risk based targets that we discussed throughout the video. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.